Hey everyone, welcome back to Code of the Row. In today's lesson, we're going to cover the fundamental concept in C++ operators. Specifically, we'll focus on three types: arithmetic, logical, and relational operators. These operators are what allow us to perform calculations, make decisions, and control the flow of our program. So we have our basic hello world.cpp file. I've erased everything in our main function, except for the return 0. And let's start off with arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators allow us to perform mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Let's declare some variables to demonstrate these. So here we've declared two variables, a with a value of 10 and b with a value of 5. So now let's perform some basic arithmetic. So I'm going to create a couple variables, which are going to be sum, difference, product, and quotient. So I'll have the int sum be the equivalent of a plus b. And then I'll make something called the int difference, which is going to be the a minus b, or the subtraction. And then I also want to have a product, which is going to be a times b. And I'll do the int quotient, which is going to be a divided by b. And there's also something called a modulo operator. And for example, if we need a remainder of our division, then we can simply do int remainder is equal to a percent b. And this percent will just simply give us the remainder of the division. So in this case, it's not going to give us anything because 10 over 5 is 2 and there is nothing left over. So let's go ahead and print these out. So I'll give you a second, try to print these out on your own, kind of like we've been doing in the last few videos. And let's go ahead and I'll give you a moment to do that. All right, so the way I'm going to simply print this out is because we're using this using namespace std, I'm just going to do cout, and then in quotes, I'll write sum, and it doesn't matter what order you did this in, and then I'll print out sum, and then I'll simply end the line. And now we will console out or cout the difference, which is going to grab this variable called difference and then end the line. And the same thing for the product. So in quotes, I'll write product with a space. And I accidentally wrote produce instead of product when writing this. So I'll just fix that variable over here. And then I'll simply end the line like so. And I'll fill in the quotient and the remainder. So let's go ahead and print these out and see what we get. So I'm going to change my terminal to the CMD, just personal preference. And I'm simply going to run the G++ and then the file name hello world.cpp -o. And then we'll just call this hello world, which will save as a hello world.exe over here. And I'm simply just going to call the hello world like so, and it's going to print everything we have. So you'll see the sum of 10 plus 5, or a plus b, is 15, and the difference, 10 minus 5 is 5, 10 times 5 is 50, 10 over 5 is 2, and there is no remainder. So now let's talk about relational operators. So let me go ahead and hide this by clicking this Explorer, and I'll move this down simply by dragging this below. Relational operators are used to compare two values and return either true or false. So let's go ahead and write a few. So I'm going to erase these outs, and I'll erase these int sum, difference, and so on for the arithmetic operators. So we're going to create a bunch of bools. So the first one is going to be an is equal. And the way we're going to check that is we're going to equate this to a is equal to b. So you'll notice that there is a double equal sign here. So this double equal sign, a equal to b, is going to check if a is actually equal to b. And now I'll create another bool called is not equal, and this will simply check if a is not equal to b. And this is done with an exclamation mark and an equal sign. And now we'll check is greater, and this is simply just going to check if a is greater than b. And then we'll make another boolean called is less, and this operator or this sign will check if a is less than b. There are a couple of variations of this, such as greater equal to. So I'm just simply going to write is greater or equal. And the way for us to check this is simply by doing a is greater or equal to b. And last, we can do an is less or equal, which is simply going to be a is less than equal to b. So now let's go ahead and output these. It's may look a little confusing, but it does get simpler as you get used to programming these. So I'll give you a moment here to just simply output every single variable just like we did before. And I'm going to change some of my spelling. I noticed that when I type, I do make a lot of spelling errors. And let me show you exactly how all of it's done. So for the first example, I am using a bool alpha. If you did not write this, don't worry about it, but I'm using a bool alpha to simply print out true or false. So let me go ahead and run this code again. And now in our console, you'll see that it prints is equal is false, is not equal is true, is greater true, is less false, is greater or equal true, and is less or equal false. So now let's talk about some logical operators. These operators are used to combine multiple conditions or invert a condition. The three most logical operators are and, or, and not. So let me show you some examples of those. So I'll erase everything except for the int a is equal to 10 and the int b is equal to 5. And we'll create these booleans for our logical operators. So I'll simply show you the and condition first. So in this example, we're going to do is a less than b and is b greater than 0. So this is simply going to check if 10 is greater than 5 and 5 is greater than 0. So both sides of the and have to be true in order for this and condition to be true. Now let me show you the or condition. So for this, I'm going to do a is greater than b or b is equal to 0. By using this double line, this is going to check if one of each of these side is going to be true. So if this is true, for example, a is greater than b, or b is equal to 0, which is false, so we have one true, one false, then that just means that this or condition is true. And we'll also do a not condition. So I'm simply going to do a not by defining it with exclamation mark in front of whatever we want to invert. So I'm going to do is a equal to b. So this is simply checking if a is equal to b. And this is checking the not in front of it. So we're just simply checking if a is not equal to b. So this not condition would actually be true. So let's go ahead and print this out. So I'll give you a second to simply just print this out, and I'll get back to you in just a second. All right, so hopefully you have something kind of like this, just to simply print it out. So now I'm just going to run that g++ command and then hit hello world on my keyboard, and it's going to print 1 for all, meaning they are all true. So to summarize, we've covered 3 types of operators: arithmetic, relational, and logical. Arithmetic operators let you perform mathematical calculations, relational operators allow you to compare values, and logical operators let you combine or invert conditions. If this video helped you understand operators in C++, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Code with Bro for more beginner-friendly tutorials. Like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see next, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.